Better do something, boy, don't do nothing. Better do something, boy, don't do nothing. Better do something, boy, don't do nothing.
All right.
Better do something.
It is Monday, the 7th of November, 2022. I'm Alex, and I'm here on the Pennant podcast with Peter.
Hi, I'm back. I'm Peter. I reversed it.
We're back.
Yeah.
We're all back.
Yeah.
And right now, leading off, we've got some pretty much breaking news in Ontario.
Yeah.
A big labor showdown between the teachers' union and the Ontario government has essentially been called off. Doug Ford has taken the notwithstanding clause off the table on the condition that Ontario teachers quit their planned strike activities. So this whole labor conflict that was taking on all of these additional constitutional implications and was becoming a major, if not the major, story in Canadian politics right now, has turned into nothing. And the unions basically got nothing, the government basically got nothing, and both sides are going back to their core constituents and acting like they got a win. So we're right where we started?
I guess so. Like, I've just never seen the play like this. Like, do you think Doug and Lee Chain, like the whole cabinet, in a shadowy, smoke-filled room game planned this shit? Like some, like, invasion of Normandy level shit. Like, we're going to suspend, your constitutional right to strike. We're going to invoke this collective bargaining agreement because we know that you will be defiant and go on strike, and then that will bait parents into getting pissed off because, we want to keep kids in the classroom because of COVID. And then we'll bring you back into the fold, as long as you pretty much hold it as like the carrot and the stick, you know what I mean? Thing, Like, do you think they game planned this out down to the T? Like the people say 4-dimensional chess, but this is actual 4-dimensional chess.
I don't know if they actually game planned it, but it may have been one of those things where it was the obvious direction this was going to go anyway. And I think it often does. Union negotiations, and it's been like this for decades, where the union will say, no, we need a 15% raise.
Yeah.
And the government will say, no, you need a 1% raise.
Yeah.
And then on the side, they quietly say, well, if we agree on 5%, we get to call it a win because we kept it below this number. And you get to call it a win because you got it above that number.
Why don't they just...
So it's finessing. But it's both sides finessing their own side.
So my whole thing is, why don't they just, even before this whole strike thing happened, why didn't they just agree to the 5? If they knew this was the outcome.
Because then the members get pissed off of, why didn't you ask for 7?
Oh,
and then Doug's base goes, well, teachers are already making, a heck of a lot more money than you would believe if you just read their signs on the picket line, and they get summers off and they have all these benefits and they get a pension and blah, 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 job security. Why should I shed tears at night, that they're not getting more of a raise when I'm getting nothing?
Yeah.
So those guys who would want teacher salaries to not increase at all or stay, at 3% or whatever. Anyway, so Doug gets to go back to those people and say, look, I held them to that number.
Yeah.
And then the teachers unions and all their allies, their guys get to go back and say, look, we got them above this number. We wanted this. We had to fight them. We almost tore the Constitution apart in the process. So look, we really made an effort for you guys. Yeah. And this is what we were able to secure. And that's a much more palatable message politically, which is why both sides are kind of agree to play the shadow game.
Playing politics like it's a double overtime hockey game.
Yeah, where the next possession could decide the game, Yeah.
It's insane, man. So who could come out with a win? I guess they both technically can. Who actually won? It was Doug, right? Would you say?
Yes, I'd say Doug won personally as a legacy move because he played this brilliantly.
Yeah.
And we were saying moments before we started recording, like we were both prepared to come in and basically blast both sides for both sides' respective bullshit. And believe me when I say there's a lot of bullshit on both sides.
Yeah. I'm still against the move on principle.
I'm against everyone. I oppose both the teachers unions and the government.
Yeah.
Which puts me in an awkward position. But anyway.
But I was willing to. I was being prepared to just blast Doug for the whole notwithstanding clause thing. It's just the notwithstanding clause. I hate it. Like, I'd rather he just man up and impose the contract and just leave it up to the courts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The notwithstanding clause, it's still a bit heavy-handed. Like, it's Emergencies Act level kind of
And
shit.
even that, then you get to go back to the base and say, look, we tried to fight them in court. You know, ultimately that went to arbitration, and this is the number the arbitrator set. But we tried to keep it below this number.
Yeah, that's how
So,
I would do it.
yeah.
And I was prepared to come in and say that. But then after this whole like 11th hour, more like 13th, 14th hour play where it's like, I just see on the news, oh, the teachers are ending the strike. I'm like, what? Somebody caved then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So who caved?
I was about to ask you that.
Was it Doug for... Because I feel like he...
both sides mutually agree
cave? Or was it Doug being like, okay, we'll remove the notwithstanding clause thing if you come back, you know? I think, yeah, maybe it's both sides to a degree. Because it's like, even before all this shit, I didn't think the teachers would be like out of school for weeks.
No, yeah.
Like they'd be fined how much. But also, I didn't think the government had the capacity to fund however many thousands of teachers. I mean, to fine them.
Yeah.
Like who's gonna make them pay? How are you gonna like process all those fines up to like $400,000 per person? They'll challenge it. Like it didn't make any sense logistically.
No, it was gonna be a complete mess. It was ridiculous.
How do you even collect the money?
Silly.
Yeah. So I didn't see this lasting long.
No, I agree.
But I didn't see them coming back
it would be
this
bloodier.
Yeah.
You know, and it was kind of bloodless.
Yes.
It was a weird bloodless battle.
Yeah.
Where nothing was gained and nothing was lost.
Yeah.
Nothing was risked and nothing was earned.
Yeah.
Except now, you know, everyone, just in case they weren't already convinced, now knows how far the provincial government will go to step on the charter.
And that's
already
the
knew
big
that.
thing, yeah.
But the other news story here is we get all of these great quotes from people like David Lametti of the Liberal Party, Matthew Green of the NDP, where they talk about how how disturbing it is to use the notwithstanding clause in this way, and it's authoritarian and it's undemocratic and it oversteps judicial review. And blah blah blah, and it's great to have those people on record saying that because they sure were not saying that a year ago.
Isn't David Dave Lametti, the justice minister?
Yeah,
the injustice minister.
Yes, yeah.
Or I guess he oversaw the whole Emergencies Act injustice, and like this guy's pretty much like Dr. Doom of Canada, like.
Yeah, kind of. Well, he's like the most loyal Liberal cabinet minister at the end of the day because he owes everything basically.
Yeah.
To well, for one, he wouldn't be justice minister if it weren't for the whole Jody Wilson-Raybould thing.
True.
So
he
was
has to be
installed as a loyalist cleanup man in the first place, and I believe his riding is pretty close geographically to Trudeau's.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. I think he's a Montreal MP. But anyway.
Where's that going with this?
We were getting ready to blast Doug, but did Doug turn this into a political victory?
Oh, yeah.
I think that was the question.
I guess in the base, basically what I was saying before was like, before we came on, was that I think he could get elected for 8 more. Like 8 more is a bit ridiculous, but I think this plays well to whatever base he has.
Yes.
What would you call the Doug base at this point?
I would not call them Ford Nation anymore. Ford Nation no longer exists.
They're like vaguely maybe centrist, center-right boomer conservatives who also like the restrictions but like the low taxes.
It's
and
like moderate boomers. That's the Doug base. Moderate boomers and people who want slightly lower taxes and know that no one else is going to give them a better deal.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much Doug's base.
Yeah, and the people by extension, there's solidarity for the teachers, but when the kids are out of school, you're not going to... The average middle class Ontarian is, you know what I mean?
There's solidarity for the teachers up to the point where either A, parents are already dissatisfied with their school boards and the quality of their education that their children have received over the past few years, or B, they have to make childcare arrangements, and now all of a sudden, auntie or grandma, has to upend their life to look after the kids so that the parents can still go to work. That's the point where the sympathy for the teachers' unions runs out.
Yeah, and that's why the unions will never win. Like, unions as a concept, I feel like will never really win the hearts and minds of the average Joe, because it's like, they just view it as an inconvenience. Like the OC Transfer strike from like however many years ago when we were kids.
Oh my God, 2009.
It crippled the city for like months, dead of winter.
60-something days.
Yeah, like...
There was a sex shop on Bank Street that had a sign that said "Free lube for OC Transpo bus drivers, so you can fuck yourself." So at the point where the progressive queer sex shops on Bank Street are blasting your labor action,
No,
you
that's
know
true.
you've lost popular support.
That's the thing, man. Like, I forgot about that. And it's like, yeah, I think people hated bus drivers for a while after that, man.
Yeah, they did.
You know what I mean?
OC Transpo lost a lot of sympathy for a lot of years until people forgot about it.
And then the LRT thing
And the LRT fiasco happened.
Yeah, and everything else. Yeah. So that's just crazy, man. Yeah, you're never going to win the hearts and minds. It's like Iraq. You know what I mean? Hearts and minds, you're trying to fight an insurgency.
Yeah.
And it's like the people you're trying to protect from the insurgency are joining the insurgency.
Yeah.
To blow you up.
You gotta win their hearts and minds, and if you can't do that, then the whole operation is bound to fail.
But the idea of a strike, unless it's like a general strike with all workers together.
Oh, and there were, to be clear, labor activists calling for general strikes in Ontario and across Canada.
Oh, really?
Ontario teachers.
But even then, it's like
highly paid professionals.
People would need to pay the bills. You only get that in fucking Russia when no one could eat. You know what I mean? People still have to work.
We had a general strike in Winnipeg.
No, we did. That's what I was thinking of.
That was a long time ago, but nonetheless, it has happened in Canada. It is conceivably possible. Could it happen in 2022? I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. That if we had a generational catastrophe occur a couple of years ago, for instance, hypothetically.
Oh, that's true. Yes. I'm like, wait, what could you be talking about that?
Strike?
That's true. I'm like, wait.
Last February, even we veered maybe a little bit in that direction. Still,
barely.
You know, labor was against it from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So the thing is, when ironically labor is the biggest possible impediment to workers bargaining.
Well, they bought them out. The government bought all of us out.
Yeah.
All of us off. How much trillions that they printed, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that wasn't even a possibility because they had to.
So when it comes to winning hearts and minds, that's why like cross-union solidarity is so important.
Yeah.
Because you basically need other people who are getting their cut to say nice things about you and your cause. So, but you know, at the end of the day, even if you're a bus driver in the bus drivers union and the issues with the police and the police union or whatever, or teachers and the teachers union, like you're still a parent.
Yeah.
Like you still have to find childcare arrangements for your kid, even if you're on board with the whole labor movement mission and whatever.
And you're not getting paid.
At the point where your family is getting screwed.
Yeah.
You know, anyway. Yeah, exactly. You're not getting paid.
Like I saw one of the most base takes. I think I sent it to you. I forget who, some random person on Twitter or something tweeted this or comment where they were like, you know, I support like the union's right to strike, you know, as a free market kind of libertarian, I support the right of the company to hire scab.
Yeah.
It's free market ball, you know.
Yep.
It makes sense, honestly.
I honestly shout out to all the scads out there.
Would you scab?
Oh yeah, in a heartbeat.
If you were working at if that was your company,
I would have scabbed and taught high school classes.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I didn't go to teachers college, but I have a bachelor's degree. I'm basically just as qualified as they are.
True.
You can pay me 3/4 and I'll do it.
Damn.
Simply out of spite for the teachers union. On the condition that you don't invoke the notwithstanding clause. See, like that's the condition of bargaining here.
Yeah.
I will scab, but if the point where I'm scabbing for people who are absolutely so scummy that I can't even back them above the labor unions, then that's when I start to reconsider. But the overall idea that I'm replacing someone who's trying to collectively bargain, like I don't care.
Yeah. But it seems like there's this
I don't believe in
collective stigma. Or maybe I've just been in such a union activist bubble that I've internalized
there's a huge
that stigma.
Yeah, I've heard people say horrible things. Like basically, most people's opinion about scabbing in Canada is similar to most people's opinion about
tipping
snitching
or tipping.
Or
not tipping.
Yeah, not tipping. That too.
Like certain countries don't even have tips. You know what I mean?
That's true. But if you don't tip, you're not that likely to get beaten up by union activists.
Well,
whereas if you scab, it's kind of like snitching.
Yeah.
You know, snitches get stitches, scabs get stitches, and they get ostracized. But anyway.
Damn. I guess, was there something about
scab apologist Alex?
Yeah. I think you put something in the doc about like getting Trudeau to like tear up the Constitution or
Oh,
like?
yeah, okay. So there was a big fear that thankfully now has been more or less rendered unfounded.
Yeah.
That Doug Ford was going to invoke the notwithstanding clause, and he was going to use as much kind of muscle as he could in a big show of being a provincial strongman, only for the federal government to intervene with popular support and set a precedent for quashing provinces taking too much initiative, which would then be leveraged against, for instance, Western provinces that might be levying certain constitutional challenges or trying to reopen questions like equalization.
Yeah.
So thank God that didn't happen. Doug did not set up Justin Trudeau for the biggest dunk on Danielle Smith on the planet.
Was that ever a possibility, though?
I definitely think it was a possibility because, you know, frankly, it's consistent with the Ford-Trudeau alliance that we've seen over the past few years. It was certainly on the table and something worth being wary of, in my view. And thank God it didn't come to pass yet.
People were talking about that, like in the Liberal.
There were kind of concerned people that were bringing that up as a possibility. That basically, this was going to cause a constitutional crisis.
Wait,
and that's why this story got so big, right? Otherwise, it's like, oh, teachers' union strike in Ontario. Who gives a shit if you don't live in Ontario or if your kids aren't in school or whatever. But because this is going to be turned into a big constitutional issue with the potential to create precedent for federal-provincial relations for years, that's why this became such a big story.
But under what authority could he intervene?
There is a precedent for this in Canadian history. I think it's been about 80 years since the federal government invoked it.
Was that Winnipeg?
No, I think it was something else.
Okay.
But there is a mechanism by which the federal government can essentially tell the provinces to take a hike. Now, it hasn't been used since the Constitution, by my understanding.
Okay.
So I guess the question is, how would it hold up in modern Canada with the modern Constitution, the modern Charter, and all that stuff? I need to do more research on this before I make any definitive statements one way or the other. I don't know, but that is my understanding of things and my understanding of why people were so concerned and interested in this issue, more so than a typical public sector union dispute.
Yeah. Because if he's using the notwithstanding clause to notwithstand the Constitution, then Trudeau would hypothetically have no constitutional grounds.
Right. But if he's using something that predates the Constitution, maybe an argument with a sympathetic judiciary could be made that it supersedes it somehow.
Extra constitutional.
Yeah.
Yeah, country is weird, man.
Oh, it's super weird. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't want it to be an America clone. Because at least in America you have it like, there's still a lot of judges left out there who they read it, they're the letter of the law kind of thing, you know what I mean? And you don't have all these extra conventions, extra legal kind of archaic English kind of, you know what I mean, common law shit, conventions you use to skirt the law. Like it's written, it's defined. It's like the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not kill.
The Bill of Rights is basically the 10 Commandments. And the Charter of Rights and Freedoms is like this convoluted mess full of all this high-minded early 1980s BS.
Yeah.
So no wonder it's so ineffective. It's such an ineffective.
It's like Wikipedia versus writing in a stone tablet.
Okay.
Wikipedia, there'd be hundreds of edits, and people fighting and like
all these external links.
The Canadian Constitution is Wikipedia.
Pretty much, yeah.
The American one is the Bible.
It's got external links dating back to 1215.
What are you going to believe more, the Bible or Wikipedia? Bible as in it doesn't change.
Yeah, it's
what's there, it's there.
Yeah.
Wikipedia, it's whatever. Yeah.
Well, the question, at least there's a revision history in theory.
In theory. But no one actually reads that.
No.
So I don't know. What can we wrap up?
I think we've pretty much covered the Ontario labor dispute situation.
Yeah.
We have to do a bit of a condensed episode today, unfortunately, because of time constraints. So we got to just breeze through our core topics here. So after the CUPE topic, did we want to just go into U.S. stuff, or was there other Canada stuff? We could talk about the municipal stuff real quick, but we don't have to get into it.
What did you want to talk about municipal stuff?
It's been a couple of weeks at this point, but Ottawa's elected a new mayor, Mark Sutcliffe. Patrick Brown has been re-elected mayor of Brampton.
John Tory's re-elected.
John Tory was
Andrew
reelected.
Horvath, pretty much every Ontario
Horvath, yeah. It
Muslim
was a
leader.
great night for premiers. Del Duca,
Del Duca.
Mayor of Vaughan.
Well, not premiers. People
No, not
who,
premiers, but people who aspire to be premier.
So
sorry.
pretty much mayor, become a mayor. If you can't be premier,
If you can't be premier of Ontario, become a mayor of a suburb of Toronto.
yeah.
That's the formula.
Yeah.
It worked for John Tory, Patrick Brown,
yes.
Andrew Horwath. Someday it'll work for Jagmeet Singh.
And Del Duca.
Del Duca.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I guess we could go to, oh shoot, Freeland.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, Chrystia Freeland. This is a red alert topic.
Yeah.
So some of you longtime Pennant podcast listeners will remember, I think it was episode 3, I believe, the Queen episode.
Yeah.
We mentioned that Chrystia Freeland seemed to be flirting with the idea of becoming Secretary General of NATO.
Yeah.
And which, means that really would shake up the whole landscape of Canadian politics in a big way.
Yeah.
But that story kind of went away.
Yeah, I forgot about it.
It's been a couple of months, and now people are talking about it again.
Yeah.
And she seems to be the consensus frontrunner for Secretary General of NATO.
Damn, that's crazy.
So, and this is not, Canadian press talking about, oh, our girl. Like, no, this is this is foreign press. People are taking this seriously.
And
it seems like she will probably be the next SecGen of NATO.
And this must be specifically to piss off Putin.
Maybe, but it also saves her from the collapse of the Liberal Party that we've been projecting for time now. So it allows Freeland to dodge the bullet.
So yeah, you think she's definitely going to do it then?
Yeah, it seems like it, yeah.
Yeah.
So in that case, we're going to have to come up with a whole list of, it'll be time to redo the power ranking in a real way.
You published that article, right?
The power ranking?
Yeah.
Back in July, I think.
So yeah, an update. Yeah, we need an update. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's
you
crazy.
Guys can go back to pennant.ink, and you can check out my Liberal Party leadership power rankings from back in the summer. They obviously do need to be amended somewhat now, given that Chrystia Freeland seems to no longer be the front runner. But a lot of names on there that I think are still worth talking about.
Yeah, my pick is still Melanie Joly, I think.
She definitely is the closest thing to Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
Which is both a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. How do you think she'd do as Secretary General? Would anything change?
Probably
or would
not.
NATO still be NATO?
NATO's going to NATO.
Yeah. Okay, America.
Okay, yeah. So we got midterms coming
rundown,
up.
Yeah. I haven't really been paying attention to it that much.
So the overall story is that we're kind of looking at a red wave, kind of, but maybe not. The Republicans should win in Congress pretty handily.
Yeah.
538 was giving them like a 84-17 kind of chance of winning.
Okay.
The Senate is a bit dicier. So the Republicans might win the Senate apparently by a seat or two, according to pollsters.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be a huge bloodbath, and there are scenarios where the Dems still hold on to 50 seats, which obviously is enough, plus Kamala, right?
Isn't the Fetterman thing? That's one of the deciders, right? That could flip it.
Pennsylvania, yeah. So this is why the race has come down to
like Pennsylvania, Georgia. You have the other dude.
Yeah. So this is another thing I wrote about on the site. So you guys can check out my midterm kind of preview article where I talk about Pennsylvania mostly, but talk about Georgia a little bit, talk about New York a little bit, the gubernatorial election there. But yeah, Pennsylvania, you have John Fetterman versus Dr. Oz. So that's the big story that seems to have captured the nation's attention.
Yeah.
So Fetterman, he was once considered America's coolest mayor. So I call him in the piece a proto-Buttigieg. That he was this like mayor who was like relatable and available, and, whatever. And he was getting all these magazine puff pieces. He had an incident where he brandished a shotgun at a black jogger.
Oh, really?
In 2007, I think.
Oh, damn.
So he almost McMichael'd himself,
McMichael.
as they say in Georgia.
Remind me, McMichael.
The McMichaels were the family that detained Ahmaud Arbery.
Oh, okay.
So Fetterman easily could have got 25 to life if the situation had been slightly different. But instead gets to run on the Democratic ticket to be senator in Pennsylvania. So that's cool.
Yeah, Oprah backed him.
Over Dr. Oz.
Yeah.
Oprah is voting again. Well, she's not voting, I guess. She probably lives in Illinois or in California.
Yeah,
but
she's in California.
Is essentially voting against her own show, which is interesting.
Yeah. She put on Dr. Oz.
I believe so, yeah.
Just like Dr. Phil.
Yep.
I guess that whole genre Oprah owns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daytime TV for suburban women.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is Dr. Oz is actually, that's like what's exciting about him as a candidate is that he can appeal to like kind of the Oprah demographic, right?
And didn't he like, because Trump endorsed him and then he kind of like distanced a bit. He's kind of teetered the line as to whether or not he was MAGA or not, right?
Yeah.
I don't really know any of his policies, so this is just what I've been hearing.
Me neither. Sorry to refer back to this piece I wrote so much, but in the piece I said that Dr. Oz is probably somewhere on the left of Megyn Kelly.
Yeah.
That's where I have him placed on the political spectrum.
Yeah.
You guys can tell us in the comments whether or not you think that claim is accurate, but I personally do. I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
I do not think Dr. Oz is a credible conservative. But then again, a lot of people said that about Donald Trump in 2015. So you know,
who knows? I guess. And like obviously the elephant in the room is Fetterman had like a stroke, and they're kind of propping him up. That's the
other elephant in the room. Yeah, is that Fetterman is kind of like a Joe Biden-esque character.
Even worse though. Like I was watching some of the debate.
If you think about it, though, the person who actually wins the Pennsylvania Senate race is Joe Biden.
Yes.
Because no matter what, the Democrats have managed to find a man more incoherent than the President of the United States.
That's
Joe
true.
Biden, honestly, looks better by comparison.
Oh,
it's like Jean Charest and Patrick Brown.
Yeah, for sure. No, you hit the nail on the head. And just the irony that, like, he's running against a literal doctor.
Yeah, a heart surgeon.
Yeah.
No less.
So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm sure Dr. Oz has to, I don't know how he's campaigning, but, like, he probably has to skirt the line of decency. But if I was him, I'd be like, yo, I'm a doctor, man. Come on.
He definitely has to skirt the line of decency.
Like, come on, this guy is not fit.
Kind of sly comments.
Like, he can't be, like, first, the fit for office, they were saying Trump wasn't fit for office.
Yeah.
And then we went from Trump to Joe, and Joe to fucking Fetterman. God. Like, what is define fitness for office?
Fitness for office is supporting Nancy Pelosi's agenda.
Yeah.
That is the definition of fit for office.
Look at Woodrow Wilson. His wife was running.
Yeah, Woodrow was fit for office.
Yeah, after he had like a stroke or whatever.
Exactly.
You know. So there has to be some sort of like, I would say state-mandated test, but then whoever's in power could probably cook the books.
Well, you can argue
does the public have a
where
right?
do you draw the line?
Because JFK was sick.
Even if you look at like Governor Abbott in Texas, he's in a wheelchair, right?
Yeah.
Well, obviously he's cognitively all there, so he would pass the mental fitness test. But some people would say, oh, but if you have a physical fitness test, then what is it they're there to prevent someone like Governor Abbott, who like otherwise could fulfill his duties fine, but isn't fully physically able? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
but I think if it's pure about cognitive soundness, well, that's
at the very least.
Then the question is, how do you define cognitive soundness?
True.
Do you make them do the Wonderlic test like NFL players?
The Wonderlic?
Yeah, it's like it's the NFL's version of an IQ test.
Yeah.
So I guess they could make you do a Wonderlic, and if you get less than like 35 on the Wonderlic, they don't let you be president. I don't know.
Yeah, no, practically it wouldn't work. I'm saying fitness test as in electorally, like as voting public.
Should the public be allowed to talk about someone's health?
Yes, and they make their decision.
Yes, they should. Should they fixate on it? Vote on it? Probably not most of the time, but ultimately you're voting for someone to represent you.
Yes.
So
it's just, I feel like it's bad for the culture. It's a bad sign in the culture that literally we're going to put in someone who has severe cognitive difficulties documented putting it the most charitably into office because they have a D in front of their name.
Yep.
And we don't want to flip the Senate.
But you remember all those people in 2020 who were saying, and I'm not even exaggerating, you can dig up these tweets easily unless they've been totally memory hold, but this was a fairly common opinion on Blue Checkmark Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't care if Joe Biden is an alleged hair sniffer,
Yeah, of
etc.
kids, yeah.
Because ultimately he's going to be better for the country and better for children overall. And people are literally saying this. I'm not
Like,
exaggerating.
if Fetterman was a Republican,
Oh my
could
God.
you justify voting for him just to flip the Senate?
I mean, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, that's what
I'm not gonna lie.
Or like let's bring it to Canada. You know what I mean? If Pierre Poilievre got
Pierre
like a
Poilievre-
stroke
well,
or
I'm not voting
something.
for Pierre Poilievre anyway, as we've established. But
Well, yeah.
if Max Bernier had a stroke tomorrow, it
Yeah.
wouldn't affect my vote.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Or if like they needed one seat. Let's say there was one seat. It was your seat, right? That you knew for a fact that that seat would flip the parliament from like red to blue. Or the red-orange coalition to blue. You know what I mean? And you're the candidate of choice that to flip the seat. Has a stroke, heart attack, he's quadriplegic, he's like
Well, if I'm the party, I'm
vegetable.
like, pull him. We'll run someone else who can actually.
But this is
discharge
like
their
the day
duty.
before the election. He's like barely there. He's a vegetable. You know for a fact he won't be able to fill the cognitive duties.
I mean, yeah, but like, look at Dianne Feinstein. Like, say what
Yeah.
you will about John Fetterman.
Yeah.
He is more all there than
No,
Dianne
that's
Feinstein
true.
was towards the end.
That's true. There is a so yeah. Let's say he had Fetterman's cognitive abilities, and this is the one seat in the whole country that could prevent Justin Trudeau from being prime minister
I
again.
mean, you do what you gotta do, I guess, in the
You know what
moment.
I
I hate to
mean?
say it, but
Like-
that's reality. So I don't blame the Democrats for pretending. But the question is, like, there's a difference between saying, vote Democrat anyway, vote
Yeah.
blue no matter what, whatever,
Yeah.
versus saying that other people are wrong and they're mean and they're ableist
For pointing it out.
having questions about
Yes.
John Fetterman's, cognitive performance.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Like, that's where I draw the line personally.
Yes. It's
So-
a dirty business. Just acknowledge that it's a dirty business and let's get on with this. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Like, yeah, we know it's a dirty business.
Don't
You have to be
pretend
more of a dick
that you're propping
than is
up Fetterman
absolutely
because of
necessary.
some altruism about ableism.
Yeah, it's not because he's spreading awareness for people who are recovering from complications for
Just be
strokes.
honest that we need to win this, and some of them are being honest. I'm sure.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
just like they were honest with Joe Biden. And honestly,
honestly, yeah.
as much as they took it to an extent that is too far for me personally,
True.
you got to respect their honesty.
Yeah, exactly.
How are we doing on time?
So it's 4:42.
Okay,
We're
so
30 minutes in.
realistically, we got another maybe like 20
20 minutes, yeah.
Okay.
So
Anything else with midterms?
there's the what's his
Tough
name?
on crime pivot in New York, I guess.
There's that.
a
What
little
the
bit.
football player guy?
Herschel Walker,
Herschel
in Georgia
Walker.
versus Raphael Warnock. Yeah.
Yeah. Lying about multiple abortions paid for. I don't really have much on it.
I don't
It's
have
a-
much on it either because it's such a he said, she said thing.
Yeah.
And like either you believe Herschel Walker or you believe Herschel Walker's accusers, but nothing's been definitively proven by anybody.
Yeah, so midterms, we'll have more to say about the midterms after they happen tonight when we're recording this, Monday, November 7th. You want to talk about the acts of Elon and the great
Yes.
Twitter purge?
Yes. So Elon Musk now officially owns Twitter.
Yeah.
And every day there are new sensationalist headlines about it.
Yeah.
People are pulling all kinds of stunts now, trying to get kicked off of Twitter. The latest one is to impersonate Elon Musk.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
Kathy Griffin got kicked off,
The
and
E3, H3 guy.
Ethan Klein,
Yeah.
got kicked off. Which they did violate the Twitter terms of service, where you
Sure.
can't impersonate people unless you're explicit that it's a parody account. So.
Mm-hmm. Why are they doing this though? Because
They're trying to make Elon Musk look authoritarian because, he's kicking us off the platform, but he said he was here to save free speech, but we're Democrats, and look at him cracking down on us Democrats.
the
It's
sponsors pulled out too.
stupid. Oh my God, so many corporate sponsors pulled off Twitter. That
Yeah.
honestly was what shocked me.
Yeah.
I didn't think the blue anon screeching would carry over so hard in corporate America, but it tends to, so I don't know why I thought that.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird though, right? And the blue check mark for $8 thing,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of awesome.
Wait, you could buy a blue check mark for $8? I heard about that, but I'm like,
Yes.
how? What do you mean? Like, doesn't that ruin the?
Yes.
I see.
It's great. I love it, and I'm considering purchasing a blue check mark for at pennant.ink.
I hope this geese.
Yeah, this is quite a formation of geese.
Yeah. So that doesn't entirely ruin the audio.
100.
Yeah. It's cool from this perspective, being in like the middle of it.
I wish you guys could see, but I'm not going to move the camera for this. I'm sorry.
But so you could buy, the pennant could get an 8.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm paying my $8.
So basically he's trying to nuke the whole concept of a blue check mark.
And there have been allegations coming out that Twitter employees were selling blue checks for thousands of dollars.
Oh, I believe that for sure.
Which I totally believe.
Yeah.
So, like, Elon is cutting those people out, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big Elon Musk fanboy. Let me make that clear. Just like with Pierre Poilievre, here I am on the show carrying water for Elon Musk. I'm not even a big fan.
Yeah.
But when his opponents are so, like, insultingly facile about everything, it's hard not to defend the guy. Yeah. Even if I have my own issues with him, you know?
And what were the accusations that, like, you know, the N-word and all these other... There's going to be no team to moderate this. They fired the safety commission or whatever, a bunch of different committees that they had, they got rid of them, so these people won't be able to do the work. The people who are supposed to monitor the election today can't do their jobs.
Everyone who says stuff like that, none of them remember what the internet was like 20 years ago.
Even like 13 years ago.
Oh yeah, but 20 years ago there was nothing.
Well, yeah, true. Well, that's why they told kids not to go on the internet.
Oh, but it was awesome back then. That's when it was good. And then I watched it die in real time as I came of age, which was sad, you know?
Yeah.
The beginning of the real final end of the internet, in my opinion, was like the 08, 09 era. And then it just after that became a bunch of corporate monopolies fighting over scraps.
So you're saying make the internet great again?
Yeah, damn right.
Yeah. Could Elon make Twitter great?
Probably not.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
But at least it's going to be a lot harder for journalists to cite Twitter for slanted news stories now. So ironically, I do think this will have some positive run-on.
Yeah, I wonder, will we see an exodus of like these? Firstly, do you believe them?
A lot of them are going to Mastodon.
The fuck is that?
It is a lefty Twitter alternative. It's kind of like Parler or Gab, but for communists.
So pretty much everything will just be, the internet will be ghettoized. Yeah. Mastodon, Rumble, whatever the one Kanye's on. Parler, Twitter, you know. Yeah. That's sort of what's already happening. But I feel like a lot of those Gab Telegram people are going to migrate back to Twitter.
Yeah. Maybe not full time. Maybe they'll go back to having a troll account on Twitter, but still have a main account on Gab or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, Twitter users jump to Mastodon, but what is it? Interesting.
So the concept is kind of interesting. It's like a Twitter that's hosted on decentralized servers. Yeah, but all of the servers are moderated by basically Reddit mods.
Oh yeah.
On day one.
Yeah, that's true.
And the founder of the platform, they were in some Twitter thread and they were saying something like "fuck Nazis," blah blah blah. And someone was like, "Okay, fine, but what about people with valid, deeply held right of center beliefs who want to engage in political discourse and blah blah blah?" And this person's like, "Fuck Nazis, I meant it." Obviously, it's not a platform where people are going to be able to come together from both sides of the aisle. Yeah. Not that Twitter really is that, but at least Twitter in theory could have been that at some point.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Is this, I don't know if this is a win for Elon, but is it an L for Jack Dorsey? Ultimately, do you think?
No, I think it's a dub for Jack Dorsey. I think his legacy is going to look really good.
Really?
Which is funny because I think Jack Dorsey, ironically, has evolved into kind of an Elon Musk.
Yeah.
In terms of his personality and his political stances.
Yeah.
But I think all the people who were complaining about Jack Dorsey not doing enough, now they have a new, bigger villain to hate. Yeah. So who cares? It's like Darth Maul. Yeah. Jack Dorsey was the Darth Maul, and then Elon Musk is the Darth Vader. But by the fourth movie, you've forgotten about Darth Maul, and if anything, you kind of have fond memories of, that guy who killed Qui-Gon Jinn was kind of cool.
Or George Lucas, an even better comparison, George Lucas versus Disney. Like, people forget about how, like, I love the prequels, but a lot of people claim that the prequels was the decline of Star Wars. They were disappointed, sells it off to Disney, and then now they have an even bigger corporate villain that just runs it into, you know.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like when I was a kid, I was a prequel hater, and then
Yeah.
with age, I was able to kind of appreciate certain elements of them, and I just saw it as like a different creative vision.
Yeah.
And I was able to put it into context. And then now that those Disney movies are out, I'm like,
Yes.
Phantom Menace deserved Academy Awards. Like I've
Yeah.
come around full circle.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's
Anyway.
exactly, yeah. So Elon is Disney.
Yeah.
Ironically,
I guess so.
yeah.
And Jack Dorsey is
George
George
Lucas.
Lucas and
Yeah.
Irvin Kershner or whatever
Yeah.
his name is.
Because, like, I'm wondering, why would Elon want it? Like, can he actually flip this to make it profitable, firstly? Like,
No, I
what
don't
value
think so.
does...
I don't think
Is this just a...
I think
intellectual
this is a vanity project.
vanity?
Well, it's like Jeff Bezos buying the Washington Post.
Oh, okay,
Jeff
yeah.
Bezos doesn't need the money to
No,
having a profitable
you're right.
newspaper.
You're
What does
right.
he care? He
You're right.
sells the company that sells newspapers. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for him, it was a prestige
not about the
project.
money.
He wanted a blog that everyone in the country would read.
It's not about the money.
It's about sending a message.
Yeah.
That should be our tagline.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, because we definitely don't do it for the money. I'll
Yeah.
say that right now. We
Yeah.
only do it to send a message.
Okay, I get it. People, I guess at that point, when you reach that stratus of wealth and power, you also want to own the airwaves.
Well, the thing is, if I had
Means of communication, you know?
if I had even way less money, but I just had, you know, a larger nest egg than I already do, I would
Yeah.
totally just buy a local newspaper or whatever, just to run it as like a hobby farm, basically.
Yeah.
right?
It's like Kanye buying Parlor, you know what
Exactly.
I mean? It's like, why
He's
not?
not trying to make money.
No,
just
clearly
trying to
not.
tweet.
Yeah, exactly. Clearly not. So, like,
Trump did not start Truth for the money either.
that's true. I forgot about Truth.
Everybody forgot about Truth.
Oh my God. Does he come back? Because he said no.
No.
In the past. You don't think he's coming back at all?
Maybe for next election.
Oh, so
Or
he's
maybe
kind of...
in the next election there will be an official Trump campaign Twitter account, but
Yeah.
not a Trump Twitter account. So that Trump
Yeah.
can still say, I tweet to my followers on Truth Social only.
Yeah. And
I
then
only truth and retruth.
they'll,
But in reality, he has
they'll
like
repost.
what's
Yeah.
her name, like Kayleigh McEnany
Yeah,
or whatever,
yeah.
who's tweeting like, the president says, you know.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. It's just interesting, man. We'll see what Twitter becomes. Like, I've never really liked the platform from the beginning. I barely tweeted as a kid,
It
teenager.
seems really fake. Like, I've
That's the
tried to
thing.
use it a little bit to promote the stories on the website and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not serious on there. I'm not a reply guy. You know, I obviously have made zero effort to follow
Yeah.
other people or get any followers back. But every time I investigate trending hashtags and stuff, I just see all
It's
these bot
dumb.
accounts.
Yeah,
And it's people who are indistinguishable from bots.
the only thing Twitter is good for are memes and porn. That's it. You know what I mean? Other than that, I don't know why anyone would use it as like an actual communication platform.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, unless you already have like a big megaphone, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
Like
and that's
an
why
Elon.
celebrities like Twitter. Like,
Yeah.
that's why Twitter is enduringly successful. It's not regular people like us.
No.
Because like everyone I ever knew who was on
Who
Twitter,
cares
like,
that?
nobody stuck
Who
with
cares
it.
what Joe who works at fucking Costco
Exactly.
is tweeting?
No, they want
No
to see
offense
what Joe
to-
Rogan is tweeting.
Yeah, no offense
Yeah.
to actual people
Joe
working at
Costco,
Costco, but
yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, no one cares what what I tweet. You know what I mean?
Nobody cares about what I tweet.
Yeah,
But if you do, at pennant.ink.
yeah. And I've always just preferred Instagram because like you could put something in a story and it will disappear after like 24 hours by itself.
Yeah, that's
Like
kinda
when I
nice.
need to fucking just go full like bipolar rant, I do it on Instagram because I know it will disappear after a little while, you know?
Yeah, that's
I don't want
smart.
that stuff staying there, you know?
The problem is when you're big enough, people screen cap it.
Well, true, yeah. But even
yeah.
then, it still has like the air of like, it's not impermanence, if that's the right word, you know what I mean? Versus Twitter, you can just scroll up and down and see like
Yeah.
a whole timeline
Even
of
see someone's dirt
baked rants,
from
you
20
know?
years ago.
Yeah, so
That's how you wind up in a Defiant L's compilation.
yeah, like I deleted my Twitter from high school, not because there was anything cancelable, but because it was so boring and mundane, it was offensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was
that's
looking, I was scrolling for hours looking for something cancelable.
You're like, how am I ever going to convince my kids I was cool?
Yeah, exactly. There was absolutely nothing. I
Yeah.
swear to God, nothing of interest
Oh,
or
I'm
value.
sure. I'm sure.
You know, so yeah, I guess that's all we have for Twitter. It's like 4:54.
Yeah, we got to unfortunately start wrapping this up.
Do we have room for like one more little topic? There was the hockey game one. I don't know if you have anything to say about that.
Not really. We could do it. We could also save it for next time. I feel like the next episode, though, is going to be pretty jam-packed.
No, that's true. Nothing, man. This really was quick. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything.
Like, okay, guys, little inside baseball here. We have 3 Google Docs chock full of stuff to talk about. So it's not like we're blanking. We're just on a timeline, and we can't talk about something that's going to take an hour.
No, that's
all.
true.
We're leading to all kinds of crazy tangents. Got to be a quick hit.
Yeah.
Gotta run.
Honestly, man. Yeah, I guess that's it. Like,
I'm going to make a personal appeal then to the viewers.
yeah.
I was doing some research for the midterm article I wrote, and the last I checked, Kathy Hochul has 155 subscribers on YouTube.
Really?
So right now, the pennant page is at, I don't know, I think 20 or something. If we could get that up just a little bit, we could beat Kathy Hochul. So I would love to have a YouTube account with more reach than the governor of New York. I think that's a worthy goal. If you guys would like to help us fulfill that, please subscribe. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, 100%. I really mean it, you know.
Help us beat Kathy Hochul.
Yeah. Check out the Pennant website. This guy's like putting the work in, man. You know what I mean? Like,
thank you.
He's really carrying this, you know, this whole operation.
Oh,
so.
yeah, I guess hypothetically we could have talked about the whole Emily Oster angle, but we'll save that for next time. That's way too big a can of worms.
And the light's starting to go, so yeah. I guess thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Like, share, subscribe, follow us. Okay, peace out.